Peace be with you. I'm making this video in order to explain the importance of learning the Quran and to give a few tips and tricks on how to do it. Not all of us are going to become Hafiz, right? Not all of us are going to memorize the Quran cover to cover. That's just not going to happen. But that doesn't mean we can't learn it over time. And we have to remember that the Quran was revealed over 20 years, and in the Quran, I forget the reference, but God says, "We have revealed to you in portions that you may recite it to people in portions." So most of us are going to learn it like that. We have to learn it. If we don't learn the Quran, then we don't know what God commanded, and we don't know what God forbade. We don't know what God wants from us, and therefore we cannot be Muslims. So we have to learn the Quran. We have to learn the Quran. The best way to do this is to listen to God, learn from it on how to do it. So I wanted to share a few verses. The first verse I want to share is in chapter 18, verse 27. And God says, "And recite what has been revealed to you of the book of your Lord. There are none that can alter his words, and you will not find refuge beside him." And in chapter 29, verse 45, God says, "And recite what has been revealed to you from your Lord, and keep up prayer. Surely prayer keeps away from indecency and evil, and remembrance of God is greatest." So we are instructed in a couple of places to recite what has been revealed to us from God. And again, the reason being is we have to learn. We have to know what God wants. Otherwise, how can we submit to God? Meaning, how can we be Muslim? Because that is literally what it means to obey God, to submit to God. If we don't know what God wants, then we can't do that. So we have to recite the Quran. And God also says in chapter 73, verse 20, surely your Lord knows that you keep vigil nearly 2/3 of the night, or half of it, or a third of it, and a party of those with you. And God measures the night and the day, and He knows that you're unable to do it. So He has turned to you. Therefore read of the Quran what is easy. He knows that there are those among you who are sick, and others who travel the earth seeking the bounty of God, and others who fight in God's way. Therefore read of it as much as it is easy, and keep up prayer, and give zakat, and offer to God a goodly gift. And whatever good you send before yourselves, you will find it with God better and greater in reward. And ask forgiveness from God. Surely God is forgiving, merciful. So there we're told, I'm assuming that the early Muslims, they were trying really hard, right? Try staying awake 2/3 of the night, right? So they were really doing it. But God tells them, you can't keep that, you can't keep doing that forever. So we as humans are just not designed for that. And it says, whoever can't do it, then read what is easy to you. So that is the approach everybody should take with the Quran. Read of it what is easy. The way I do it, and these are my recommendations, the way I do it is, now we are blessed with technology. So you have searchable Qurans. You can search by concepts. You can search by topics. For example, I have an issue with anger, right? For 10 years, I'm trying to work on my anger and forgiveness. Anger and forgiveness are very closely tied together, right? So over and over, I searched the word anger in the Quran, right? And I found 3 different places where anger is mentioned. And one of them, it says, "And hurry toward the forgiveness of your Lord, and the gardens, the expanse of which is heavens and the earth. And your Lord has prepared them for those who are careful of their duty," those who have taqwa. Those who keep up prayer, and He has prepared them for those who are careful of their duty. Those who give in prosperity and adversity, and suppress anger and forgive people. And your Lord loves the doers of good. So I recite that to remind myself that anger is not acceptable, and that I have to suppress it, and I have to forgive people who make me angry, right? And there's another one that says, "And whatever you were given are only the tools of this world, and what is with God is better and longer lasting for those who believe and rely on their Lord. Those who shun great sins and indecencies, and when they are angered, they forgive." So that is one concept. There's also another concept of respecting the parents. There's another concept of honesty in business. There are several of these concepts that you can find, and you can memorize those verses. And even if you can, so some, in the beginning, I would recite one verse about anger, and one uh, rakat, and the other verse. So even if you just recite one verse, it is enough to teach you something. And that is the approach every Muslim has to take. Uh, you cannot fall victim to paralysis by thinking about how much of it there is. Just pick one verse. Pick a concept that you have a problem with. Do you gossip? There's a verse for that. So recite it, and recite it before you go to places where you catch yourself gossiping. Things that make you angry. Think about that. When you're going to visit your parents, recite the verses about parents, but you have to learn them, and it's okay. So you memorize one verse. You work. That's the only job that you have to do. So you memorize one verse, and then you recite it in prayer, even if you have to repeat it with every rakat. Recite it, and in a couple of days you will know it. And chances of you forgetting it are very low from there on. So that's the trick. Just so that and that's what God says in the Quran. Again, God says, "And recite what has been revealed to you of your Lord, and keep up prayer." So recite it during prayer. So that's it. That's really what I wanted to share. Read what is easy of the Quran. God authorized it for those who came before us, those who were way better than us. And God said, God told them, I see what you're doing, and then I understand that you are human and you're sick, and you have to go and look for sustenance, and you have to even fight in God's way. So read what is easy of it for you, and keep up prayer. And that is, so we just need to listen to God. I just wanted to explain what God said in regards to this. So find these concepts, do what is necessary, recite the verses. Even if you find one verse a week, that's fine. Again, for me, what worked is concepts. I find all the verses about a concept, and then I try to memorize them, and sometimes it takes a longer time. Sometimes there's more verses about certain topics than there is about others. And then you just do it. So that's all. Recite what is easy for you. Read what is easy for you. Keep up prayer and recite what has been revealed in the book of your Lord. And that's it. The rest of it is jihad. Once you learn it, you have to struggle to put it in practice. And unless we do these things, we'll never be on the right path. And God gave us an example in the Surah Jummah about this, and He used people that came before us. In this instance, the people that were used as an example were the Jewish people. And God says, those who received the Torah and did not follow it as they should have, their example is like an example of a donkey carrying a book, essentially. And that is the same example. So whoever comes after them, if they were given a book and we were given the Quran, if we do not follow it, we are a donkey carrying a book. There's no difference between a man holding the Quran and a donkey holding the Quran if the man does not read it and follow it. If you don't do either one of those two, then you are just like the donkey. There is no difference. So we have to not be the donkey. It's a dumb animal. So we can't be that dumb animal. We have to read it, and then we have to follow it. If you read it and don't follow it, the book is as useful to you as it is to the donkey, again, because you're not getting any direction from it. You're not following the direction. So these are the important parts about how to be a Muslim. You have to learn the book. You have to. The way to do that is to recite it in prayer, and then you have to follow it. But that is jihad. You're not going to be perfect, but you have to keep trying. And once you try it long enough, you will get better. I promise that. I mean, it is a jihad. It is a struggle, but whoever does not quit will get better. And then their judgment is with God, and that's all. So good luck to everybody. I just wanted to share this, and hopefully it helps somebody. That's it.